real estate sector, Nigeria, the first quarter GDP we see released by the MBS shows a decline in the real estate and construction sector's growth. That's for the first quarter of 2024. From the report, the real estate sector stood at 0.84%. That's for the first quarter of 2024, 0.84%, compared to the first quarter of 2023, which was 0.86%. So we're seeing a drop there of about 0.50%. That's for the contribution to Nigeria's GDP in the first quarter. So what's causing this trend? It's lower also, that's 5.31%. That's what it contributed to the GDP in the corresponding quarter of 2023. Let's drill down now on the hurdles in property registration in Lagos State. We're going to be drilling down on Lagos State. Now, joining us for this conversation is Tope Salami. He's a partner, IRT and Associates. Joining me right here in studio. Great to have you. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Williams.
Yeah.
Good morning, Nigerians, and happy Eid celebration.
Yeah, happy Eid celebration. I hope you got some ram, though, because I didn't get any ram.
Well,
this season.
Yesterday I was all about Lagos, going around, seeing friends.
Oh, you're one of those guys that just went around, you know, trying to get some ram.
That's how it is. You know, that's one of the things you get to enjoy.
Fantastic. Well, I hope I get some, you know, at some point, but it's over by tomorrow. But looking at this real estate contribution, that's to the first quarter GDP, we're seeing a slight, quite a 0.50% is not slight at this point. That's 0.5% drop compared to the first quarter of 2023. And I know I've heard, you know, most investors talk about how the hurdles in real estate sector, number one, property registration. Yes. That's become a snag. But, you know, so far we've seen the Lagos State government talk about promoting ease of doing business in the real estate sector. Yes. Are we seeing any improvement at this time?
Yes, well, the Lagos State government recently just came up with, I would say, ease of doing registration of titles in Lagos State.
Right. And,
well, so far, it's been a fantastic idea. It's been a good initiative by the Lagos State government. There has been some hurdles, you know, so the whole idea is to reduce, you know, the interface with public servants because of the bureaucracy in civil service. So the whole idea is to ensure that from the comfort of your homes, you could register your interest in title to land. So you could do your governor's consent, as it's called. You could process your CFOs. You could conduct searches. You could apply for certified true copies of title documents. But you know, these things have had a bit of drawback because of the system. There are a lot of problems, and that is why you've seen the decline between the first quarter of 2023 and now. And the reason is not far-fetched. The reason is because of the bureaucracy in obtaining this permit. And I would like to take it into two slides now. You look at the registration of titles part, and you look at the process of obtaining permits for building approvals. You know, it's an Herculean task in Lagos State now. Over the past 3 to 4 years, post-COVID, we've had, since this system was introduced, they tried to eradicate the manual system of filing applications for land transactions. And since they've gone into this electronic system now, because of some, well, I would say problems, not particularly because of the difficulties in accessing civil servants to do their jobs, but you find glitches such as poor internet service. Sometimes you go to the land registry to conduct business, you know, they say there's no electricity, you know, you can't even conduct searches in real time. So, well, they have tried to sell it to the public that come from the comfort of your homes, you could register title documents. But
is that happening at all?
Well, it's happening. Some people have been able to access that portal, you know, but if you're trying to process an application from the comfort of your office and the back end where the services should come from, there's power outage or the system failure or you have poor internet services, you know, you could hardly get anything done. In fact, I could remember, I think twice last week I visited the Lagos State Land Registry and I could barely get anything done. You know, I was going there to conduct a search for a client.
So let's assume I'm a property developer and at this time I found this land and I want to, you know, develop it. Walk me through the process, you know, in getting most of these permits.
Okay, yeah, the first aspect, the first thing you have to do is you have to register your interest in the land.
Right.
You know, when you buy a property, the first thing to do is, you know, secure it, and when you secure legally, you could buy a property, physically you have an equitable title. But until you register your interest in the property with the land registry, that is when you get an equitable, legal interest on the property. And you know, the conditions precedent for getting a building approval is having a title document over the property. So you see, when you're having problems, even registering your interest on the property, when that takes years, because what the Lagos State government has sold to the public and which they've tried to do is to make sure you can get this thing done in as low as three months. In fact, what they're selling is even 30 days content. But in reality, it takes practitioners and applicants, they know, as a matter of fact, that this thing takes a long period of time. So after you register your title document, which takes time, which is, you know, almost difficult and impossible these days, you then proceed with those documents to the Fiscal Planning Permit Authority, which is responsible for, you know, managing your design and ensuring that what is in your design actually fits with what you're putting on ground. But, you know, there are a lot of bodies, there are a lot of agencies.
Now, I'm talking about the number of agencies. Yeah. You know, I read, you know, yesterday on Business Day that we have about 17.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are more.
More than 17 agencies before you can, that you have to pay to or to get permits from. You know, at this time, I think we have a list of that. We see Lagos State Physical Planning Permit Authority. Yes. There's Lagos State Safety Commission, Ministry of Physical Planning and Urban Development, Lagos State Materials Testing Laboratory, Lagos State Environmental Protection Agency, Lagos State Fire Service, some say for a building that's not yet, you know.
Yes.
The Standards Organization, I guess that's federal.
Yes.
You know, so Lagos State Management Authority, LAWMA. So I'm wondering what LAWMA has to do with it.
I don't know. You know, you've not even gone. I will tell you for free that in some parts of Lagos State, you even see local government coming in. You know, for stocking materials on the road, sometimes you see local government officials come in and say, well, you don't have the right to do this. If you want to build a property, your materials must be in the confines of your building. And, you know, there are too many agencies, in my own view, doing the same thing. Right. You see, there are too many agencies doing the same thing. If it would have been easier if we had about 2-3 agencies, we know that's what it's applicable all over the world. You know, for example, I don't see why LAPSCA and the Lagos State Fiscal Planning Permit Authority shouldn't be merged into one. You know, they seem to be doing the same thing. Then you see the Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory. You know, they are also there. And they have, what they do is, you know, they get a mixture of your concrete. You know, they just want to test the viability if it's solid enough. But that still should be the confines, should be within what the Lagos State Fiscal Planning.
So we don't need over 17 agencies to handle all of this.
That's not even. You see, you also see the problem of high taxation. You see, sometimes before you get your approvals ready, you still have to go to the LIRS. LIRS gives you humongous bills, you know, that you have to pay. Well, if we're in a system where those bills can be calculated based on what you earn, you know, it would have been easier. But for example, I'm doing a construction in somewhere in, let's say Mushin, for example, and I'm giving a personal income tax of over 2 million naira to pay, you know, which even is more than what the fiscal has. So a lot of these issues, you know, has caused a significant decline in, you know, real estate development in Lagos.
And we talk about, you know, doing due diligence, you know, before, you know, buying a property. And when I look at these hurdles, you know, you have to, you know, scale through before you can get these titles. Does it discourage investors from actually doing due diligence? Because we've had the issues of properties in Lagos State, you know, being demolished, you know, being built in the wrong places over canals and all of that. So how much of this is discouraging due diligence? Well,
I will take it from 2 angles now. So the fact that you must, as a matter of, it's mandatory that you consult a professional before acquiring real estate. Right. You know, you have the surveyors, the land surveyors, and the lawyers. They will, you know, go to the land registry, confirm your interest in the land. But the truth be told, for all these demolitions you see in Lagos State recently, I feel the developers had, you know, they've been pre-warned that these lands are, you know, subject to government acquisition, you know, maybe the fall on road alignments, you know. So it's not just like the Lagos State government woke up one day and started demolishing. If they had done their due diligence, you know, they would have known that, this area is earmarked for sewage, this area is earmarked for, you know, canals and all. So they shouldn't build on that. But be that as it may, there is also the problem, like I said earlier, with the system itself. You know, like I told you, I said I walked into the land registry twice last week. I couldn't conduct a search. So for a client who is in a hurry to close the transaction, it might, you know,
And there was no public holiday?
No, there was no public holiday. It's just a system. Like I told you earlier, there are systemic failures. Sometimes you go to the registry, they have no electricity, or they tell you the portal is down. So this has, reduced people's appetite to conduct professionals because they feel, well, it takes a lot of time and I just have to go ahead and do my business. So that's what we've been witnessing, and that's why there's a decline in this approval.
So for you, what do you think should be done at this point? Because 17 agencies, that's quite a lot.
That's a lot.
What do you think should be the first step now to make property regularization easier?
Yeah.
So that we actually get that ease of doing business in the real estate sector?
Well, just like I remember in 2016, the former president, President Muhammadu Buhari, created an agency. I think it's a presidential initiative on ease of doing business.
Right.
I think this should be captured by all the states of the federation. These agencies. For example, you want to do a construction, and all these agencies are listed to you, and at some point in time you have to pay some certain fees. It discourages you, and that's why you see a lot of developers, trying to boycott the system and doing developments that eventually, don't stand the test of time or eventually come down. So I feel the government should be proactive in the sense that, you see, all these agencies, you can put some of them together. You could merge like the LAFSCA, the Lagos State Fiscal Planning Authority, the Lagos State Material Testing Laboratory. These agencies, in my own view, they actually do the same thing. They actually do the same thing. You can bring them together, then, strengthen them to bring out their core mandates. So going forward, I would be of the strong opinion that the Lagos State government, brings these agencies together to give citizens better service delivery.
Right.
I will tell you something for free. Where the part of Lagos where I live, somewhere in Ojodu. Ojodu is a suburb. It's a community that has a boundary with Ogun State government. So you're doing a construction in Lagos State, in the Lagos side of the state, region, right. And the other side, Ogun State, and you're constructing, for example, a one-story building, and taxes you've paid to Lagos State government before you even start construction is well over 5 million. And the other side, the Ogun State, you see somebody, developing for months and no single government agency, shows up. So the Lagos State government, Lagos is the center of excellence, is the financial capital of Nigeria. But they need to harmonize these agencies and make it less stressful to get permits, to get approvals, So comparing Lagos to other states, is it easier in other states to regularize? Well, because Lagos has now gone digital. Other states, I don't think there's any state or even the federal government agency in charge of that's the Federal Ministry of Housing. I don't think there's any state government that does what Lagos State is trying to do. But what Lagos State government is trying to do is to make it digital, make it ease-free. So from the comfort of your homes, you can apply for permits, you can apply for CFOs, you can apply for governor's consent. But like I said, it's come with different issues entirely. It's a brilliant initiative by the state governor, to make things easier for the population. I'm sure technology is playing a huge role. Yeah. In fact, recently, I think about 3-4 months ago, when this Lagos State online application, it's called the Momentum system. When it was launched by the governor, there was a stakeholders meeting where the governor called experts from the industry and practitioners alike, when they launched the system. And, they made the governor know that, we're having problems, because if you're trying to achieve a system where you have each free processes, there shouldn't be internet glitches. There should be regular power supply. So it's like a lot of things must be in place before. So, and now what we've discovered is they're not even getting it faster. The whole process is not achieving its desired purpose because it was faster when they were doing the online application. So imagine walking into a ministry now and they tell you there's no power. If you were handling physical files, it would be easy to push physical files. But when there's no power, you can't access anything. And this sometimes goes on for weeks. So, a lot of other infrastructure have to be put in place. Yes. Seamless. Anyway, we'll keep tracking progress when it comes to regularization because definitely we know that impacts, the real estate sector heavily. Thank you so much, Barrister Tope Salami, the partner at IRT and Associates. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. All right, so we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll head to another conversation, definitely, talking about financial inclusion and how that can
move the economy forward at this time? That's our next conversation. Do stay with us.